All right, so just taking a peek at what I sent Sarah to try and get out on Facebook, our meeting agenda. So in theory, what we'll do when I bring this up with our general council members we'll just kind of briefly look at what these things are and to explain what they are. Current businesses of the topics that we're going to focus on, they will be part of the discussion topics, but also they're kind of the voting. So at most, we don't really need to discuss much with the award ceremony, so it's not under discussion. We may have a vote about its budget. And the only thing that I'd like to really hear from general council members is what kind of topics are they maybe looking for if we were to invite some more guest speakers to these meetings, and just kind of get their input, maybe a poll since we have that feature in our webinar. And then also just so under current business, there's a few other things, but they'd mostly just be like little updates of what we've been thinking of, working on, those kinds of things. And for Sarah and for Gracie, the very last bullet under business is the marketing and budget reports. So, as we go through, we'll actually have some sort of more formal things for you guys to talk on in that, but it's really short, it's really sweet, and we'll get into that as the time comes. Not really necessary for today. And then as for voting, since I use this slide as what's going out to, D2L, Facebook, maybe faculty or emails, the voting, captions are pretty generic, but it's inviting students to come and telling them why. So it may be updated on what we kind of need those votes for to hopefully get some students to come. So after that, as we get through the semester, if there's any discussions from a general council meeting that we kind of held off for the following meeting, we'll list them under tabled discussions. And then I just want this document, this slide, to have upcoming dates and events so that we can just kind of keep that in the very, very forefront of letting students know what's going on. So I just want to welcome, I'm not sure if I'm going to say your name appropriately, but you tell me. It's Oksana Lewis. Thanks for joining us this evening. We are just getting started, so. Does anybody have any questions with this slide before I kind of just move through what's on it as we go along? I take silence as a no. Okay. So the biggest thing that we're obviously going to be working on this semester, and that is kind of on our minds that we wanted to talk about, is the Virtual Learning Awards ceremony. We've picked May 5th as the date, and that is set in stone. We also can give an update that we have a location picked out. We'll be doing this at Harrisburg campus this year. So we were a little finding it hard to find places that we wanted to have it, but you know what? We just had a really nice renovation done to the Student Cooper Center, so it'll be nice to feature and have our event there and bring more of HAC students that are virtual to main campus at HAC. So that's really exciting, and we're looking to probably theme our awards ceremony as Cinco de Mayo, since it was the date we're having it. So it'll be colorful and fun with a lot of flair. So I'm looking forward to that. As far as any other updates, executive council members, am I forgetting anything?
This is Emily, and I'm meeting with Jasmine, the prior advisor of the VLSAC, tomorrow. So she's worked with the award ceremony the past 2 years. So if you do have any questions you'd like me to ask her, I know we have a lot of documents from past award ceremonies, but if you'd like me to ask her anything in particular, let me know, since I'll be meeting with her.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what her insights are on that. So the second item that we wanted to talk about tonight, which is kind of more in depth, we will get to that later, is this semester we've kind of revamped how we want to do general council meetings. We'd like to hopefully get more students engaged so that we can appropriately hold the certain votes that we need. And also, we want to be able to provide value to online students in these meetings. If students are attending even for a half hour on a night that they would normally be doing their schoolwork, maybe engaged with their families, we want this to be something that is really beneficial to them as well. So we've discussed having HAC staff and faculty perhaps join us as guest speakers, and we have scheduled our first guest speaker to discuss technology resources at HAC for virtual students, and that's coming up on February 5th with Jason. I want to say Bowden. I don't know if that's exactly how to pronounce his last name, but he's been in IT and a director, I think, in IT at HAC for some time. So he'll be able to talk about a lot of the things that we use as virtual students that help us out getting our coursework done from home. And this was an opportunity to kind of leave, if anyone has any, ideas, we can get a little creative, but anything that they'd like to maybe have as a discussion, a guest speaker come in and talk on, feel free to chime in the chat box, or I think in this webinar, there's an option you can raise your hand and use your mic, whatever anyone's comfortable with.
Corey, did you have any topics in mind just to share with the group and maybe get them thinking?
Sure, absolutely. So I know from working with career services last semester for a networking event that we did, I think the concept of professional networking is something that students really enjoyed, would have wanted a little more on, and I think it would have been something that maybe if we could adapt and talk more about that in a virtual setting would be really beneficial. So I'd love to just see if maybe we can invite someone from career services that we've already worked with. We have some names to just talk about some of the things that we mentioned at the networking lunch, or further like get in depth on some of the topics that the guests came and spoke about. But that I was thinking a lot along the lines of that. If that gets anyone else, stirs up some ideas. Yes, welcome, Sherry. We are only on like the second page or so of our meeting this evening, so you're jumping in at the right time. Oh, that's no problem. We're glad that you could make it. So far we've only hit on virtual learning award ceremony and general council meeting guest speakers. So we're talking about inviting faculty and staff members to our meetings that we hold every Monday. So we're not going to have a guest speaker every Monday, but we're just looking to brainstorm some ideas on what kind of topics we might want to hear from. One idea I had was professional networking. We do have a scheduled guest speaker to come in and talk about different technology resources. So if you have any ideas or things that you think would be cool to hear about, feel free to let us know. No pressure.
Another option, if individuals don't have ideas right off the top of their head, is that we ran a virtual learning survey in the fall. And I'm not sure if there's a question that addresses this exactly, but there may be some. If we look at the responses, we may be able to pick up on some topics that would be of interest to students. So maybe if you need me to send that link out again to the survey results, I can, but that may be a good resource.
Also, I wanted to chime in. I was just thinking, trying to put me on the spot here. I'm really good with ideas. It's just thinking is not good for me right now. I know that whenever I did a lot of the Jumpstart events, I know, Emily, you were there. I was asked about, balancing my schedule with, having Logan in school and work. So maybe we could do something, you know, having not like a professional multitasker or anything, but someone that you know for a fact, like Professor McCartan, like she's in everything, you know, and she's a
That's
mom.
true.
So I mean, like, and she's a, you know, she does marketing as well. So I mean, she's jack of all trades. So maybe kind of like, you know, zoning in on how she does everything could be, you know, because I know that that's something I was asked during the jumpstart. So
That's a really good point. And this is really a sidebar. Since we have a few attendees here right now, I'm going to point out, I'm guessing that Oksana and Sherry, you might have seen, I just posted something on D2L that highlighted as a notification. We're going to be using our D2L page this semester a little bit more than we have in the past to, you know, post some things. Sarah has been working on some, you know, games and things to run through the D2L, as well as sharing some different tips on organization, stress management. So those are other topics with we could maybe kind of coincide with a guest speaker the same time that we put them up on D2L as the semester, you know, keeps going. So that might be a really good idea, Sarah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. This can be an ongoing topic. I think those are some really good ideas, and we can try to work with our advisor a little later on to get an idea of what faculty and staff would be good to invite and work towards some of those goals on the side. So we'll be able to give a bit of an update on that next week on the 29th. We do the same general council meetings every Monday at 7 o'clock. But I'm going to go ahead and move down to item 3. And this is kind of a sad one for a lot of us because item 3 with the executive council elections, there are quite a few of us who are going to be graduating, transferring, and just moving on in our hack careers and our studies, things that we're working on. That we will not be able to continue our involvement with the VLSAC going past this May or June. So we are going to be trying to bring people in, train them, hold elections. So if you are in attendance tonight and you know students who are looking at maybe another year or so here at HAC that are virtually taking some classes, who might, you know, be creative, really like working independently, let them know that we're looking for them. I'm going to post in the chat a survey link that, you know, if people want to get involved, they can fill out and send in. Just let us a little bit about them. And if they're looking at what the executive council positions are, you can find some roles and things like that posted on our website, which is going to be www.hack.edu/VLSAC. I'll post that in our chat as well. So the executive council right now, I'm the council chair. I should probably just have introduced us all. Sarah Harmon is our communications chair, and Faith Brenneman is our vice chair. We're also looking to bring Gracie Strasser in as our finance chair this evening when we get down to the voting portion of our meeting. So that is very exciting. So again, the executive council elections, we're looking to probably do them in the very, very first week of May, if not sort of the tail end of April as well, so that everyone doesn't get bogged down during finals week. So by all means, if you'd like more information, you can always reach out to us. You can see some more information about us online. I'm going to put our email in the chat as well. You can tell students to, oh wow, I didn't mean to do that. And then VLSAC@hack.edu is our email. Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Maybe Faith or Sarah can figure out why it's doing that. It looks like it's putting the links together for some reason. Thank you. But yeah, so we're just looking for people who would be interested in, you know, a little part-time job and working to benefit virtual students. So a big thing that came up with the executive council members over winter break was, we were brainstorming ways that we could be beneficial to online students a little bit more. And the demographics of online students is different than students that are generally taking a lot of the main, percentage of their courses on campus. Most online students kind of average age is at least 8 years older than the campus student. And we know that people gravitate towards online classes because they have other obligations. They have jobs, they have families, maybe they have both of those things. And so there's a lot of reasons why we wanted to kind of branch out from campus events a little bit and see if we could provide another benefit to students and their families. And so the idea that kind of came up, that's still kind of in the works, is what's called like a family fun night. So we're just talking right now about this as an executive council. We're working out the details. We might be working with the, different campus SGAs, because what we would like to do in this and down this thought process is be able to offer, discounted tickets to different community areas and event locations for students. A lot like when HAC helps students go to Hershey Park for a day at a discounted price. So that's usually always been opened. That is always open to every campus. So a lot along those lines, we'd probably be working with our SGA friends and members to work with that. Just on the horizon, something that we're looking at, because we know, as a student, if you're working and you're taking classes, that money can be tight, but, it's still good, and it's good for your health to, sometimes not work so hard and go have a fun, take a break sometimes. So we're just looking forward to what we can accomplish looking at this. It is something that, I would love to get an idea on what we would be allowed from our general counsel to use of our budget towards something like this. It is on some of the voting slides, but I do think it's probably safe to say we can hold off on this discussion until, later in the semester. Not too late though, because I do have to plan these things early, but we can talk about that more on another slide where it comes up, and when Emily gets back with some other information for me. But at this point, I just want to open up the under item 5, the marketing report, to Sarah, just to briefly talk about, some of the things that we're working on to get students involved, and let them know that they have a virtual, student government with VLSAC, helping them out, planning events, and hopefully giving some recognition to our online students. So Sarah, really quick, if you have that, take it away.
Sorry, I had to put the 2-year-old down to be able to think.
Aww.
That's what I get for babysitting. I don't want to put them down. So I guess we got a couple things kind of coming to mind and working on. But a big thing that we're doing, is Facebook. I've been trying to not spam everybody, but kind of just remind, big things. And we did, we're doing Facebook event pages for all the general council meetings. So you can't forget, they're right there. And you can mark interested. And then if you're going, so it's a nice little feature. We're trying to do, we're talking about like swag bags. There's so many different things. But there are a lot of things, but it'd be nice, if you have ideas, come out with them, even if they're just things that you see just on Google or something as you're searching through. Just shout them out, because that's going to be the easiest thing. If you want something, you got to tell us.
Yeah, that's right. We do need feedback from our constituents or online students to kind of give us direction on things that are important to them. So it's good that we can use different outlets to, let students know, whether it's the D2L page, our new Facebook page, and the things that, are really important to us is just knowing that what we're doing is working. And so when we recently received a new Facebook page from HAC, like an official Facebook page for our organization, it's been nice to see that we're getting some of the people are able to follow. Virtual students are becoming more aware of it, and that's important to us too. So things are just taking off in a good direction so far this semester. So we're excited. As for the other item under budget, or under item 5, the budget report, this is an area where we'll get to in future meetings a little bit more, where our finance chair will be able to kind of talk about what our budget looks like, from week to week, what we've used when we vote, how to use the budget at a meeting like tonight, what that will look like and how it's being applied, and when certain things that we have to use our budget to pay for, when that happens, just to be able to show where it went, and keep everybody in the VLSAC accountable for using those funds for the projects that we have voted in on from our general counsel. So we don't have something to share on that now, but that information will be kind of talked about frequently through these meetings, and we'll probably find a way to let students know too via the D2L page, like how some of the things that we're using the budget for are going, what the updates are. One of the big things this semester is going to be the award ceremony at the end of the year, and that, at the end of the semester. And if we decide to move forward with the family fun nights, I can see those being kind of our big ticket items. So we're just going to breeze over the budget report for right now. But if anyone has any questions, item 6 for additional discussion, feel free to, talk. Let us know, what you're taking class-wise, what your virtual classes are, and just a little bit about yourselves, because we've got plenty of time in what we give as an hour for these meetings, and just we're trying to check on something so that before we move to voting. So I want to leave this time, if someone wants to get a drink or chime in, let us know that you're here. This is kind of an open 2 minutes. So
is this the slide you want me to talk about day giving, Corey? I don't know what's on the next slide. I just want to.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes, this is a perfect time to talk about that.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, the 18th of April of this year, HAC will be doing their day of giving again. We are partnering. We're working alongside with Virtual Learning to do another online silent auction. With that, we collect donations from businesses, corporations, or get donations from whoever. It could be ourselves or family member, to put up for auction to raise money to put towards our 2 scholarships that the VLSAC started. So a couple days before the actual event, I'm going to butcher this, Emily. I always thought it was a couple days before, but I believe it's a day before that we open up the auction, and anyone, can be a student, can be a family member, can be someone out of state, out of country, can go on and place a bid for these items. I know VLSAC, we got some York Revolution tickets, we got pottery certificates, we had a piece of pottery from the pottery club, we had a buttload. We had a Jasmine, our former advisor, donate her time to clean someone's car. So we donate these things and we raise money for these scholarships. So with that said, if anyone, and she did clean, yes, she spent a lot of hard work on that car, but we are still looking to get some donations. I have some donation requests out, but I didn't get an answer from any of them. I was pretty bold and I kind of went big. I did like the Orioles and the Flyers and everything. Didn't hear back from them, but we are getting one from the York Revolution again and the Harrisburg Senators. So the Senators are new this year, so that's a great addition. So
that is awesome.
It is. So talking with Emily, we're going to start doing, the little independent consultants like 31, Sensi, all those, independent consultants. We're going to start hitting them, looking into doing some phone calls, calling the businesses around, seeing what they have to offer. So I think I took up the whole 2 minutes. So
we have plenty of time.
We do. I know it's only 7:36. Holy moly. But if you know anyone, or if you have something you want to donate towards the auction, just give us a buzz at the email. We have a couple pieces of paper that need to be filled out, and once that, we are set to go. If you have any questions, like I said, just give us a holler.
Yeah, you've been working really hard at that, and it's really the only way that we can continue to fund, maybe not the only way, but we are kind of short on different ways that we can fund these scholarships that the VLSA set up. There just were some different policies put in place, and the budget that we have can't actually go to those scholarships. So now it's fundraising. And the Day of Giving silent auction is one of the ways that we can put some funds into those scholarships that help online students afford their courses. With that in mind, a lot of times when these scholarships were talked about, they're, kind of a lot of the ways that we work to help students save money on their courses and their resources for classes comes about because the Pennsylvania state government does not fund or send federal aid out to online students the same way it does students attending courses in a classroom. We do actually know that that's going to change. It hasn't changed yet, but that was a lot of the background reasoning and positioning why we really take it very seriously that we wanted taking an online class not to be a more of a financial burden than taking a class on campus, because we understand that students might need the flexibility of online, and that's it's important to us too, because we're all virtual learners, and that flexibility is what keeps us coming back. So that's important to us. So I just noticed that we had someone else join the chat. Welcome.
Just a quick tidbit. Last year, the Hack Day of Giving, they raised just below $76,000 just for that one day. So that is a staggering number. So it is a big day at Hack.
Yeah, so I think what we can do, Faith, is we can probably put some of those documents that you need on our D2L page, so that when we can talk about it there too. So if you aren't sure what kinds of things, if this was we kind of breezed through the conversation pretty quick on that, we'll list the dates and deadlines and things like that on our D2L shell so that it's accessible, to everyone. So without further ado, I want to move to voting, because I see that we have 3 attendees, and I'm just going to quick read something before we go in. Okay, so with the 3 people that we have in attendance today, as general council members, if you are taking one online course, you are a part of the VLSAC General Council. So generally, it's all online students. So if you are taking an online course and attending our meetings, you have a vote and all the items that we put on our agenda. And we may not get to all of them tonight. We may hold off on a few of these. We talked about some of them earlier. So I can always, as needed, get back into some of the information. But the biggest one and the most important one to us is that we would like to vote in an executive for our finance chair. We interviewed Gracie Strausser. She came to us last semester as we were recruiting to fill our council. The VLSAC works, it was a very small team. There's a council chair, a vice council chair, a communications chair, and a finance chair. So with 4 students and an advisor, we work very hard to make sure that virtual students' voices are heard, that they have means to pay for their classes, and that we can hold some events and some prizes for them, just as any other student government does for the different campuses at HAC. So with that being said, Gracie has came to us with faculty recommendation. She's studying business and accounting, and she's looking to transfer to Penn State. We thought she's a real go-getter. She's really interested in being finance chair because it speaks to what she's doing with her accounting. So I think I don't have too much else on that, but the vote for finance chair that I'm going to hold, I'm going to motion that we move to vote Gracie Strausser in as the Executive Council Finance Chair of the VLSAC. And so right now, all the Executive Council members aren't able to vote, but I think I can maybe do this as a poll. Emily, is that correct?
You can do a poll. We have to go through the back end of Zoom to build the poll first. So we can do it that way or through the chat. You let me know if you want me to do a poll for you.
Well, why don't we just do the chat, just for simplicity's sake. So the 3 attendees, Oksana, Sherry, and T, if you don't mind, we'll do just a yay or nay in the chat. So I'm going to make a motion to vote Gracie Strausser in as our finance chair. All those in favor, say aye. Sherry, when you said yes, was that for voting her? I think I have 3 yeses. Awesome. So with that being said, that's 3 yeses and no no's to vote Gracie in as our finance chair. So congratulations, Gracie. You are official.
Thank you.
Woo. Thanks for everyone who attended, for helping us get that through. It's important that we kind of follow all our, legislative constitution on all of these things. It keeps us in check. It keeps us, on our toes. So thanks very much for helping us do that. The other item, the next one, is also a big one. So I feel like if there are questions from the attendees, feel free to let us know what questions you may have. We are asking to do a vote on our award ceremony budget. I feel we won't really do a vote on theme, but for the budget, we are going to kind of give ourselves a little wiggle room and ask that you approve that our budget would not exceed $7,000 or $17,000 for the event this year. Yes, absolutely. I can go over this quick. So the awards ceremony, it's an annual event. It started about 3 years ago. So this will be the 3rd virtual learning awards ceremony that we've held. And each year it keeps getting bigger and better. And what we do is we have a spring event to recognize exemplary virtual students. There are different categories. This year's have not been decided on quite yet in the event planning. But we do is we are just acknowledging that the virtual students have some really great people out there. We'd like to bring them to an event, have dinner and celebrate them. And we, always have an opportunity to, hear from them what they love about virtual, as well as the president of HAC is our MC at these events. We've had him for 3 years running, and he's already cleared his schedule for this event on May 5th this year. And what we do is we, after we figure out, the different categories of what we're going to be, the awards are for, the invitations of those who qualify go out, and then the different committees and all the planning get their invitations, and the faculty and staff that are involved and or are recommended by students for awards also get invitations. So we're looking at all of that kind of goes throughout the semester. There's a lot of planning involved. And this year we've planned the event to be on campus at Harrisburg so far, but that's about the extent of what we have planned so far for this event. I don't think I'm missing anything, am I, ladies? So I'm going to make a motion for the award ceremony budget. Do the other campuses join as well? This is really for virtual students, and there's a lot of times students that are taking online classes are also taking courses at a campus. So it's not exclusively for, only virtual students, but when a virtual student is recognized and fits an award category, they'll be invited. So, and yes, the other campuses do award ceremonies of their own. So it's usually that they'll be, if there's a blended student, they might get invited to both. So. No, good questions. I appreciate it, Sherry. Okay, so with that being said, Emily, I have Oksana and Sherry still in attendance. Do you want me to hold this vote? Do you want me to go ahead?
That's up to you. I am also meeting with Jasmine tomorrow, like I mentioned. So even if she has some recommendations of budget, we could wait until next week. I don't think we'll be planning or buying too much in this next week here. So it's up to you.
I think that's fair. I think what we'll do is we'll continue to, get some more students out for these meetings so that they can hear about what the award ceremony is. And we probably want to have votes held with more than two attendees, because the executive council members don't get a vote when we're asking general counsel to vote. So I appreciate, Sherry, the questions that you asked, and hopefully this has been informative. Let all your friends know. Maybe we'll be able to hold this vote next Monday at our general council meeting. So we'll table that, and we'll table family fun nights because for the same reason, we just want to, and marketing. Marketing and printing budget was really an opportunity for us to hear from general counsel that we want to get the word out, what we do, the different initiatives that we provide for students a little bit more. And by doing that, we do want to kind of hit campus with some posters and different informational documents. We are going to talk with advising about a brochure, but to do all that, we do need a budget so that we can get these things professionally printed, as well as some new prize items. We call them swag items, shirts and water bottles maybe, or things that we've talked about. So, maybe next week we'll also be able to get a vote on a budget for that. It would be important for us to do in the beginning of the semester. So, and actually the timing of this couldn't have been better. So we've got, last slide. Thank you very much for attending, guys. This is really the information we just wanted to bring out for tonight to keep you aware of what's going on. Our next meeting, like I said, is next Monday. We'll do it at 7 p.m. here at Zoom. You can use the same link or meeting ID code you used to join us tonight to get in. And as for tonight, as you're in attendance, we'll be getting you an email because we're going to be doing a swag giveaway. So we have some shirts and some hats and drawstring bags. We'll send an email out to you that you logged into this meeting with about the giveaway options that we can hopefully get to you in the short coming weeks here. So thank you and congratulations on that. We appreciate that you guys came out. That's a wrap for me. I just want the other executive council members to, kind of second that, and also another big congrats to Gracie and welcome to the Executive Council.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
We are excited to have you. And the last thing on here, I just read my slide. Keep an eye out. We're going to be sending some information out in the next couple weeks about an event that is an on-campus event. It's going to be very fun. It's HAC's version of Shark Tank that will be hopefully working with the business club and different staff at HAC to host this event online. We've already kind of talked with tech about that. So just keep an eye out for some information. It might be a really cool item to watch. And when we have that, after it's all done, we'll probably have it recorded and posted to D2L so you can chime in after the fact. If you can't chime in live, then we can get you to view the event afterwards. So just the last little note there on this slide. But that being said, I think meeting is adjourned.
Congratulations, Gracie. Really glad to have you aboard. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Corey, we haven't had a full council in just about a year. So this is actually very big milestone for us to have the.
This is a big deal.
And what's really cool, I think, is between the virtual learning team at HAC and between VLSAC, it's all women. Am I right, Emily? Like, we got girl power going on here.
It's true. We do have a lot of females in positions related to virtual at HAC. Nothing wrong with that.
And on that.
And on that.
I just wanted to chime in real quick. I know that Sherry just left, but I wanted to just ask, I guess, Exana, hopefully I pronounced her name right. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm posting where I need to be posting to get attention for our weekly meetings. So if you could just type in to let me know how you heard about our meeting, if it's with D2L or Facebook, or if you heard from someone. I just want to make sure that I'm, reaching people, I guess. If you could just shoot me a message just to let me know, how you heard about our meeting. Okay, great. Thank you. Just want to make sure that I'm doing the right things,
Awesome. Hey, thanks for that. That's a good idea, Sarah. I'm glad that you put that in at the end. So Executive Council, stick around. We'll maybe take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll chat with Emily for a little bit.